right, good morning, Claire. This is our orchard manager, Clair Kauffman. And, he's out in the plum orchard checking the blooms after the cold weather we've had the last few nights. And yeah, a lot of people have been curious about, exactly how you check to see if a bloom is damaged, what are the signs, and yeah.
Yeah, so plums are the very first bloom to come out for us. Of the crops that we raise, plums are the early emerging blooms, and so they're always at a higher risk for frost, and we lose plums just about every year, or at least a certain amount of them. So we don't grow a lot of plums because of that, but we're always happy when we get a plum crop, and I'm sure you are too. So we did have some freezing weather and some frost the last couple mornings. The one morning was about 30, 31 with wind. That the trees can actually handle better than say 32 with a heavy frost. So the frost damages the cells more than like just cold. So anyway, I expect to see some damage here, so we'll check out some blossoms and see what's survived and what hasn't. So in a flower, in the very center of the flower, don't know if you can see that or not, is the pistil, and if that is completely brown, then we've lost the blossom. And if you cut this apart, you can look in the inside, and if you see, just let me do another one. That didn't turn out the best. Okay, let's try this one. Just cut that with my nail, and if everything looks nice and green there at the very bottom of the flower, then that particular flower may have survived, and that one does look like it might have survived. This variety looks like there's a decent amount of survival, but I see one right here that's got, a brown one there in the middle. Can you see that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's dead. And even this one, the flower looks beautiful, but right there in the middle it's a brown little thing. So yeah, that's what we're talking about there in terms. And then blooms that have not yet opened are often at a higher chance of surviving as well. They got the protection of the closed blossom. So if we open that up, yeah, it's completely green there at the very bottom tip.
Wow.
Yep, so that variety looks decent. We wouldn't want all these blooms anyway. We never want every bloom to produce fruit. It would be way too many fruit. So a fruit tree tends to overproduce, almost like insects tend to lay like exorbitant amount of eggs just to have a percentage of that survive. A little bit the same way with fruit trees. Let's check this variety out over here. By the way, that is Fortune that we just looked at, and that is often a variety that does better than the rest in the frost. So that looks like we might have, still have potential for a crop there. This variety here is Vanier, and just by a real quick look here in the Vanier, there is not a lot of Vanier that have survived. But just in this cluster here, I'm seeing one right here that looks like it survived. Let's see if we can find. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. There's another. So even here, like if you can imagine 5 plums, that's enough. That's still a crop of plums, even if you would have that many plums in a space that big. If we would have 20 plums in this space, for every blossom, they'd be smaller than a golf ball. They would just be really little. So, yep. All right. So yeah, this is kind of like the beginning of the season where we kind of see what our potentials are yet, and then in the next couple of weeks we'll be keeping an eye on them, because just because a bloom made it through frost does not mean it pollinated, and does not mean that the crop is set and that the fruit that won't drop off for some other reason. So we do need good pollination, and that's what the beehive's for. local beekeeper brings the bees in, and this is an early one, so he brought these in nice and early, and then we'll bring some more in for apple harvest. I'm sorry, apple bloom here when the apples start blooming.
And what's the temperature outside right now? Do they like are they okay with the colder weather? Or?
Yeah, I mean, they can survive in those boxes in the wintertime as well. The only problem is if they run out of food, but they can keep themselves warm all winter. But yeah, the temperature out here right now is what? Probably between 50 and 60. And they don't start flying a lot until it gets, about 60. So they're not real busy this morning yet.
Yeah.
They like to stay in bed until things warm up a bit. But they'll be out this afternoon for sure.
Okay. Now, going back to frost, what are some factors that influence whether you're going to have frost damage or not? I know, the wind is a factor often.
Yeah, humidity is a big one.
Okay.
So if we have like 31, 32 degrees and it's really dry, you won't have a severe frost. Back in 2020, we had a frost that we had really high humidity and right around 31 degrees, and we had ice crystals even inside of closed blossoms.
Wow.
Because it was just the perfect conditions. So a little bit of breeze is good for us. Really still, you're going to have a more severe frost. And of course, it really has to do with how far along those buds are developed. If the blooms are out, if they've been out for part of a week, they might survive and then just have like a damaged fruit. The fruit might still survive. So it has kind of a lot to do with timing, when that weather comes compared to when the how far along the bud is developing or the fruit. If it's already been pollinated, there's more of a chance that it'll survive. But it might be scarred from the frost.
Wow. All right. Well, Claire, thank you so much. Thanks for your time. We'll talk to you later.
All right.